train. It was mid-December, winter was at its peak, a sun-glazed breeze blew my new haircut, so I put on my hat and went running to work. Being a handsome single guy, I was trying some dating apps. I did manage to fix some dates, but then I met the one. Young and carefree, I was so excited, working hard at the restaurant. Time was always tight, and I was always in a hurry. I was finishing up with my shift late one night, and my boss told me to stay late and shut down the restaurant. I had no choice. I had to cancel my date, so I did it. After closing up, I went straight to the station to catch the last train to the other side of London. I was busy on my phone checking messages. Normally it was an okay route, but at this hour it was a bit scary, with drunk groups emptying the clubs and occasional fighting on the streets. The police were nowhere to be seen, so I put my phone away and started taking notice of my surroundings. The station was dark, gloomy, and it was freezing cold outside. After I reached the platform, I took notice of the message. This train departs in 2 minutes. Thank God, I thought. People were shouting on the opposite platform. I just walked further away to a quiet spot, focusing on my warm home and my cozy bed. Finally, my train was ready. I rushed inside the first carriage to get an empty, comforting seat, as I was so tired. But the carriage was packed with a group of drunk people. All their eyes were staring at me, so I ran to the next carriage. This one was empty, so I felt a bit relaxed. I took a seat at the back. Suddenly, my eyes opened as a group of men entered the train with a girl. They all looked drunk or high, with pale skin and red eyes. Looking like an aggressive bunch, I tried not to stare at them, but it was hard. They stood around for a few minutes and then finally took a seat. The girl caught me with a glance. She was scared looking and was trying to point out something through her gestures. 2 men were sitting on each side of her, one with his hand around her neck, while the other one was holding her by the waist. I was a bit shocked. I was not paying attention to this before. Plus, she looked much younger than the men with her. Something was not right, and I started thinking about what I could do. Looking at the window across from me in the reflection, that's when I saw a knife in the hands of one of the guys. I turned frantically, but saw everything was still, with no sign of a weapon. Did I just imagine it? I started to rationalize by saying maybe it was an umbrella or a phone or something. But still, the expression on the girl's face was undoubtedly fear. I told myself to wait 10 minutes. Being scared made me hesitate. Diverting my mind, I scrolled my phone. There was a message from my date. She texted me that she waited for an hour and then she left. It didn't seem important right now. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, everyone on public transport had their face masks on. The girl's face was covered with a mask. I was unable to figure out her face. Again, my eyes got diverted from my phone screen to the girl. My pupil met with hers. She was sitting still, just her eyebrows moving up and down. It seemed like a signal she was trying to convey to me. I decided to investigate and see if she needed help. So I slowly moved to sit opposite her. She had 2 men sitting on the left and 2 on the right, and I remember the seats were red. The man closest to her left had his arm around her tightly, and she seemed uncomfortable. When I was sure no one was looking, that's when I tried to signal by blinking and gesturing. These guys were busy chatting and all laughing, and looked like they were on drugs. I took my chance and leaned forward. That's when the man, with his arm around the young girl, shouted at me, "What do you want?" "What are you doing looking at my sister?" Embarrassed and not wanting to cause a scene, I just replied, "I'm not." Scared of the consequences, I moved. Gave the girl a chance. But maybe she was okay, and just drunk or something. As I was walking, the girl screamed. I turned back, her head jolted forward, and she had an extreme dazed look on her face. The man shouted, "What? She is sick," swearing at me. I just turned my face away and returned to my seat. Feeling a bit silly for getting involved, I wish I'd just not bothered. Not long after this, maybe 2 more stops, I saw the men get up and leave as the train doors opened. They exited, leaving the girl still sitting there. Now this was completely strange. I had to speak to her. As I got closer, I saw somebody had spilled a drink. It was dripping on the floor. My eyes focused on the girl as I stood in front and asked, "Are you okay?" Nothing this time. She was frozen, her face still. She just didn't move. I bent down closer, thinking she may be drunk or high or maybe deaf. I just wanted something so I could know she was okay. As I looked, I saw something. Her face mask was duct taped on. That's when my heart sank in my stomach. As her head flopped forward, that's when I saw the knife stuck in the back of her head. The dripping I'd seen was her blood on the red seat. Her pulse was gone, and so was she. I have panic attacks now, and I'm overwhelmed with regret. I could have saved her, I just didn't know. I pulled the emergency cord, and the driver called the emergency services. I should have done that sooner. CCTV caught the men, and they're all in prison. Still, this is not justice, and I wish I'd done more. The end.